Alright guys, Darren from Honest Money and welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 reasons why I've just invested £5,000 in cryptocurrency. And at the end of the video, I'm going to take you over to the exchange that I used and show you the cryptocurrencies that I've invested in. Now, the reason I want to share this with you is that I believe now is a good time. Well, for me, I think it's a good time to invest in crypto. I'm going to explain the reasons behind my thought process. But at the same time, I could be completely wrong. So please do not take this as financial advice. Just see it as entertainment. I might make another video in a few months showing that I lost all of this money. But hopefully that won't be the case. So last week I spent £5,000 on cryptocurrency, or should I say an additional £5,000 invested into cryptocurrency. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you'd have seen that I've also invested in a mining rig. So I spent around £4,000 on a mining rig, which I built and put a tutorial on the channel as well. So I'll link to those videos in the description and the top comment. So why have I now decided to invest this additional money? So these are the 10 reasons why I've just invested £5,000 into cryptocurrency. So number one is market resilience. So I think the market is showing signs of strength, as despite all of the recent FUD, which is a term I've only just discovered now I've got into the crypto space, which stands for fear, uncertainty and doubt, but basically negative news articles, which you've probably seen all across the internet and also on mainstream news. And on top of that, you've had Elon's tweets, what I'm calling market manipulation, as that is clearly what he is doing. But despite the fact you have all of this negative news and all of Elon's tweets, the market has held up relatively well. So I'm going to take it over to the Bitcoin price history and show you what I mean and why I think it's a promising sign. So this is the Bitcoin price history for the past year. So you can see things were around about the $10,000 mark last year, and then towards the end of 2020, things really started to take off. We've had this massive bull run all the way through to April, with Bitcoin hitting over $60,000 per Bitcoin at one point. And then we had, I think it was a big piece of news where Elon said that Tesla were no longer going to accept Bitcoin. And that was kind of the catalyst for this initial sell-off. So we saw this really big drop. So there's been a lot of uncertainty about where the market's going to go from here. Are we going to continue back down to these historic lows, or are we going to push on again and go for a new high? So we've been waiting to see where the market will go. And if I go down to the 1 month view, and you can see here from around mid-May after that initial pullback, we've kind of gone sideways and we have been ranging. And throughout all of this time, there have been lots of negative news stories released and Elon doing his best to drive things down. But the market has held strong at this price point. So I think there's appetite to go higher. I could be completely misguided. I am by no means a crypto expert. And even if I was, I still wouldn't offer advice and recommend people get involved at the moment, because crypto, I think, is still basically gambling at this point. But for me, I can afford to lose the money I'm putting into it, so I'm happy to take this punt. But I do think there is some strength in the market. And today, actually, we are seeing signs we've just broke through the 40,000 barrier for the first time in a couple of weeks. So if we can get through there and hold, who knows where things will go. I'm sure this video won't age well if you're watching this in a week or two and this has bounced back hard. But anyway, that is why I think there is strength in the market, is that despite all of the negative news and all of the negative sentiment you're seeing in mainstream outlets and Elon's tweets, things have held up well over the past few weeks. So I think there's an appetite for the market to go higher. But let's go back to the presentation and go through the other points. So another reason that I believe you should be bullish about crypto at the moment is that we're starting to see mainstream adoption. So you may have seen it in mainstream news over the past week or so, but the first country has now adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. So El Salvador has now adopted Bitcoin, which is a really, really good thing for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. And there are talks of other currencies following suit. So I think countries such as Paraguay, Mexico, and there are even other countries that are considering it as well. So the more mainstream adoption we'll see, on top of all the news articles we're seeing, we're going to get greater public awareness. So with mainstream adoption and public awareness, we should see greater investment, which hopefully will drive up the value of cryptocurrency in general. And I think that is a very promising thing for cryptocurrency. We then have fiat currency inflation. Now, a couple of months ago, I hadn't heard of fiat being used in terminology like this, but fiat basically is your country currency. So it's the currencies that don't have any commodities attached to them. So the GBP, the USD, etc. And normally these currencies are just directly related to either the government or the country. And we're seeing in all of these countries with COVID and what's gone on, we're seeing inflation starting to pick up. And many of you guys know that I also have an Amazon business. and the prices that we're seeing increasing at both the material cost and shipping cost, I think inflation is going to start getting out of control as we go through the next few months. And we're already seeing that with things like house prices, as these central banks are just printing so much money at the moment. So I think we're going to see fiat currency inflation. So our actual real world money is going down in value because they're trying to inflate away the massive debt they've created by trying to get out of the COVID crisis. But anyway, that could do a whole video on that subject, but that is one of the reasons why I'm invested in cryptocurrency, is to diversify a bit away from fiat currency. And that brings me on to my next point, which is diversification. So many of you guys also know that I have a number of different business models that generate revenue, but I don't actually have a very diverse investment portfolio. So cryptocurrency, when I discovered it, or should I say, we've all heard of cryptocurrency for many, many years, but when I started to look into it more seriously a month or two ago, I found it very, very interesting. So I wanted to start investing into it. So that was the first reason why I did the mining rig, and now I'm investing additional money. And so it's all about diversification so that you can try to provide yourself with as many safety nets as possible. So that's both from an income generating perspective, but also from an investment perspective as well. We then have decentralized finance, or DeFi as it's known in the crypto world. So whereas traditional fiat currency is managed by a central place, such as in the UK, we have the Bank of England, with DeFi, there isn't a central governing body. So with Bitcoin, it is distributed across the peer-to-peer network of people that are involved within Bitcoin, and all of the transactions are kept within the blockchain ledger. So it's decentralized. There isn't a central force that's responsible for everything, which is a really, really good thing, especially with everything that's going on in the world at the moment. And that follows on with the blockchain technology. If you do your own research into blockchain technology, it is very, very clever. In short, to give you the benefits, when a transaction takes place, the previous transaction is secured. So the next block effectively prevents the previous block from being rewritten. So that transaction chain is, I think they call it immutable, so it can't actually be changed. And the other good thing as well is that everyone has access to all of the transactions. So it's all kept on this public ledger. So everyone is responsible for keeping it intact, and no one can just go and start changing things because everyone has a copy of it. So that blockchain technology is very, very powerful, and I'd recommend doing your own research into it, as that alone is almost a strong enough reason to consider it over traditional investments. You then have global uncertainty, which I've already alluded to in this video. There are a lot of uncertainties in the world at the moment, not just regards to COVID, but with politics and with finances and lots of other things, that the more you can diversify it, the better you'll be set for the future. So certainly global uncertainty is one reason to invest in something that isn't dependent on a particular country and how that particular country performs. We then have a genuine interest. Like I said, a month or two ago, I really started getting into cryptocurrency. I've been looking into it every day since. I've watched, I don't know how many videos I've watched on YouTube. I'm sure you guys are exactly the same. Been on lots of different forums trying to learn as much as possible. So I have a genuine interest in this. And if you can make money with something you're genuinely interested in, that's always a good place to be. And then number 10, which is probably the primary reason that many people are actually investing in cryptocurrency at the moment, is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Now, many of us are probably in the same boat, that we heard about cryptocurrency many, many years ago when it was just called Bitcoin, and that was the only crypto that was really about. And most of us just brushed it off, and we thought, oh, that won't go anywhere. And then many years later, we have this FOMO because we did miss out, because we'd invested early days in Bitcoin. I'm sure you probably wouldn't be watching this video at the moment. And finally, here we are on the Coinbase.com website. So this is the exchange that I used to purchase the cryptocurrency. I said I would show you the exchange I was going to use and also show you the cryptocurrencies that I went for. So my portfolio balance is currently just under $7,400. I think when I first invested the £5,000, that was around $7,100. So that has increased, but I'm not planning to hold these for the short term. I'm looking at maybe a year or two investment as a minimum. So hopefully when we come back and look at this in a year or two, this portfolio balance will be much larger. But clicking through to the portfolio, and you can see the currencies that I went for. So I took the £5,000, I split it in half and put 2,500 into Ethereum and into Cardano. I've also got some Bitcoin there, which are the proceeds from the mining rig that I talked about previously. So hopefully in a few years that Bitcoin will continue to accumulate, and all three of those will continue to grow. Now, I'm not going to recommend you purchase any of these because I don't want to try and sway you one way or another. I just wanted to show you my portfolio and show you the plans that I currently have in place. So those are the 10 reasons why I've invested in crypto. I'd love to hear your reasons for investing in crypto below. Let me know in the comments. If you found this video useful, make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.